Putting on muscle is slow, it's incredibly time consuming, and it's also extremely difficult. It isn't just some easy 16-week, I'm gonna eat some food, I'm gonna get huge. That's not how it works. It's high intensity, tons of volume. It's astronomical amounts of food. So much clean food that you'd rather vomit than eat more clean food. That's what it takes. And at the end of the day, you're in this pursuit for muscle growth, and then suddenly you realize you're limited by your genetics. You can only get so big, you can only put on so much muscle. So then you decide to join the dark side of the force. You hop on PEDs, you get huge, but guess what? You also lose your hair, you get terrible acne, and now no one wants to be around you because you're freaking out all the time and your temper is just 1 second away from exploding at all times. All I'm trying to say is that building muscle is incredibly hard. Know what's actually really simple and quite easy? Getting shredded. Now, I know what you're saying. You're gonna be like, Austin, how could this be true? I've been trying to get a six-pack for years and I've never been able to achieve it. Well, to be completely honest, you continually screw up your diet, you're not consistent at the gym, and then right before you actually get gains, you fall off the wagon because things are too hard or it's too inconvenient. The truth is, getting shredded is easier than putting on pounds of muscle weight. Here's the deal. We are 12 weeks out from June 1st. 12 weeks, you got 3 months. If you're someone who's sitting around 20% body fat and it has always been your dream to get shredded for summer, I have 5 tips that if you follow these to a T, I can guarantee you that you are going to be ripped and ready to take your shirt off at that first pool party. Tip number 1, I'm gonna say it again. Your favorite influencer is gonna say it. Your favorite YouTuber is gonna say it. Your science teacher is gonna say it. Your mom's gonna say it. Calorie deficit. You have to be in a calorie deficit if you wanna get shredded. If you wanna get lean enough to see your abs, to look absolutely ridiculous at the beach, you gotta spend some time in a calorie deficit. This is literally step 1, and this is the step that I think most people miss right off the bat. Everyone starts working out, everyone starts going for walks, everyone starts going for jogs, all these other random things that aren't bad, but no one's willing to actually be in a calorie deficit. Because being a calorie deficit is hard. It sucks when you can't just eat whenever you want to eat. It sucks when your buddies are out getting beers and you're sitting there drinking a sparkling water. It's not always the most fun, but in order for you to be shredded by summer, you have to be willing to be in a calorie deficit. Well, how do you know if you're in a calorie deficit? Well, there's a couple of ways you can do this, but first things first, we have to figure out what your base metabolic rate is, okay? We need to figure out how many calories you burn with you just being you on a day-to-day basis. Now, the ways that you can go around this is option 1. There's really great BMR calculators on the internet that you can literally Google search, find one that works really well. I'm gonna link one in the description to this video. Check it out if you wanna figure out what your BMR is. You can also use things like Fitbits or Apple Watches that will track your calories and get you a pretty good idea of what your BMR is. And lastly, what I think is the best way is to just track your food for 5 days. Don't change anything from what you're doing, but figure out how much calories you're currently consuming for you to look the way you currently look. I've done a video on calorie tracking and being in a deficit before, so I'm not gonna go super intense into detail on this. I'm gonna link the video in the description here and check it out if you want more information on how to be in a calorie deficit. So once you figure out what your base metabolic rate is, how much food you're currently consuming, the next step is to either eat less or burn more calories. It's honestly that simple. Everyone wants to try to make it really difficult by adding all these crazy diets and fads that I think are completely insane. All you have to do is eat less food or burn more calories. And if we're gonna eat less food, the best way to do that is to track your calories, to weigh out your food, to have some type of meal prep that you are preparing every day or every week. I'm not telling you need to eat the same single meal every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What I'm telling you is that you need to weigh your food. This is the best and most optimal way to make sure that you're in a calorie deficit and that you're eating less or burning more calories than you're consuming. Tip number 2, exercise. If you don't want to eat less food and you want to try to just burn more calories by more movement, then exercise is going to be key. especially when you get down to those final weeks where you don't necessarily want to pull more food from your day-to-day eating, but we can increase our daily activity in order to keep staying in a calorie deficit and get shredded. When we're looking at exercise, we don't want anything to be too crazy because we don't want to put too much stress on our body because being in a deficit is stressful enough. And so we're only looking at strength training about 2 to 4 times a week, and we want to stay within maintenance volume. And that training should be hypertrophy training simply because we want to build aesthetics. We want our body to look good while we're in our shred. So hypertrophy training is going to be your best friend in the gym while you're in a cut, simply because it's pretty simple, it's pretty basic, and it doesn't tax your central nervous system that hard. The other thing you need to be doing is intentional cardio. I think intentional cardio can be like 2 to 3 times a week, nothing crazy. To be honest with you guys, I don't do a ton of cardio. I do sports, different things like that, I've talked about it. But if you want to, things like high intensity interval training, going for runs, hitting the Stairmaster, all incredibly beneficial to add to your programming for your cut. Don't be stuck just doing strength training, but utilize the calories you can burn by going for a run or using interval training. The last thing is something I've talked about a lot, which is non-exercise activity thermogenics, NEAT, which is just your daily movement, day to day, week to week, month to month. 8 to 10,000 steps a day, get out for a walk. If you got meetings on the phone, pace around your office while you're on the phone. Just that idea that the more movement you get throughout the day, the better things are gonna be. Because again, we're talking about being in a calorie deficit so we can get shredded. So the more calories we can burn just through daily activity in life, the easier it's gonna be. Number 3, drink more water. Now, this one seems a little insane, but just based off of conversations I've had with my clients, the amount of people who aren't drinking enough water is absurd, especially if you live in an area where you have free access to water. You need to be drinking water. Your body is like 70% plus water. And so if you are depriving yourself of hydration, your body will not lose weight. It will not get shredded, and you will not be ready for summertime if you're not drinking enough water. Water isn't just about hydration. It's about skin health. It's about your metabolism. It's about your energy levels. It's about mental clarity. All these things water plays a part of. And if you're not optimizing your water intake, you are not optimizing your health. One of the side benefits of staying super hydrated, especially during a cut, is that you just feel full. I tell everyone, like, if you're gonna be in a severe calorie deficit or you're working towards being that sub 10% body fat, you are gonna be hungry, but having a gallon of water a day can actually help you feel more full because it just fills up your stomach. If you can drink 16 ounces of water before and after every meal during the day, I guarantee you're gonna feel more full simply just by having that liquid. And my challenge really is, especially during a cut, try to have a gallon of water a day. Be the person who's carrying around the gallon jug, I don't care. A gallon of water a day during the cut, you're gonna thank me later. Tip number 4, prioritize recovery. Now, a lot of times what happens during a cut, during a calorie deficit, if you try to do it before, you get tired. You get so burnt out that you just snap and you just think that you can't do it another day. You can't track another meal, you can't meal prep another week, you can't go to the gym, and so suddenly you fall off the wagon and all the hard work you've been putting in for the last 2 months just goes out the window because you just mentally snapped because you are not prioritizing recovery. Honestly, the truth of the matter is, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be mentally fatigued, you're gonna have low energy levels, but it's only temporary. So before you start feeling tired, you need to prioritize recovery. Are you getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night? If you are not, create some sort of nightly routine, whether that's washing your face, brushing your teeth, reading a book, or taking a hot shower and then reading a book. But do something that allows your brain to calm down, and then have a bedtime for yourself. Don't just, I'll go to bed whenever I get my work done, or I'll go to bed whenever I finish 3 more episodes. Literally give yourself a bedtime. If you know you have to be up at 6 p.m., if you know you have to be up at 6 a.m., plan on being in bed around 10:30 p.m. so that you can get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Find time for yourself outside of just driving from thing to thing. There's so many people I work with where they say their alone time or their rest time is in their car when they're driving to work after they drop their kids off to school or whatever that is. I get it that sometimes, some days, that's all the time you have. But if you actually want to stick to this deficit, you have to prioritize recovery modalities. And what that can look like is, one, go get a massage. Like, invest in yourself, pay the however much it is for an hour massage. It's going to be incredible. You're gonna feel more rested and you're gonna feel more able to continue in your calorie deficit. Something that I've been really getting into is saunaing every week, or saunaing, how do they say it? Sauna, I'm gonna say sauna. Saunas are great. Using hot and cold recovery is incredibly beneficial. I've talked about it before, but just get involved with something outside of just sitting at your house watching Netflix or just having time in your car for yourself. Go get a massage, go get a membership at a gym with a sauna. Just take advantage of that time and prioritize recovery. Tip number 5, and arguably what I think is the most difficult one, is discipline. If you want to look like an exception, you got to live like an exception. The reality is that you're going to have to make decisions that aren't always the most fun decisions, but you are doing it because your eyes are not set on the immediate gratification of going out and getting some beers with some buddies, but it's set on, hey, 12 weeks from now, I want to look the best I've ever looked. I want to feel better about myself more than I've ever felt before. And you have the ability to do it. Over the next 12 weeks, challenge yourself to not miss a single day. Eat the food you say you're gonna eat. Protect your workout time. Throw it in your calendar, schedule it out, and that is your time for your workouts. Nothing can take that time from you, okay? When it comes to the weekend, decide if you're gonna go out Friday or Saturday, not both. Sunday mornings, maybe it's not bottomless mimosas at your favorite brunch spot, you know? But these are all things that if you're willing to stay in a calorie deficit, if you're willing to hit your exercises, get your daily movement in, drink water, prioritize recovery, all these things, if you don't miss a day for the next 12 weeks, I can guarantee you that you will be pool ready by the start of June. At the end of the day, maximum effort leads to maximum results. Minimum effort leads to the cycle of, once again, you saying you want to be shredded by summer, but once again, you don't make it happen. Learn discipline and get after it. Now, you don't have to do this alone. And I actually encourage people, don't do it alone. Find a fitness community, or I would love to help you myself. I have an app that I run all my clients through. I've created a 12-week summer shred program that's going to get you ready for June. Everything's gonna be there. I'm gonna have your workouts scheduled. I'm gonna have your rest scheduled. I'm gonna have your steps scheduled. I'm gonna have your water scheduled. Everything that you can think of, I'm gonna have set up for you. So you don't even have to think about it. All you gotta do is open up the app, the information's right there, the workout's right there, the food's right there. And if you follow it to the T, there's no reason why in 12 weeks you cannot be the most shredded version of yourself year to date. If you're serious about getting shredded by summer, take the next couple of days, make a plan, and then you got 12 weeks. I would love to see you hit your goal in the next 12 weeks. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, hit that subscription button, hit that like button, leave a comment. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'd also, again, love to help you out on your fitness journey. In the description, I have everything that I've talked about in this video linked, so take a look. Until next time, peace.